Protein is the most important nutrient for weight loss and to improve body composition, especially if you are a woman over 40 looking to shed some weight and build muscle. So take note of the following foods and start incorporating them into your diet. My name is Claudia, I'm a 45 years old holistic nutritionist and nutrition coach, and help busy women in the 40s make healthy eating easy. Before we dive into our list, I want to do a brief introduction to explain why the foods I discuss in this video are superior in protein quality compared to others. In 2013, the Food and Agriculture Organization introduced the DIAS method, which stands for Digestible Indispensable Amino Acid Score. This method ranks protein quality based on the amino acids that the body actually digests and absorbs. What's great about the system is that you can enhance the DIAS score of plant-based proteins by combining ingredients with the right amino acid profiles. As a reference for the DIAS score, the system grades protein quality as follows. DIAS scores over 100 indicate high-quality protein. DIAS scores between 75 and 100 indicate good quality protein, and DIAS scores below 75 indicate low quality protein. Apart from the DIAS score, it's important to know how many grams of protein each food contains based on a typical serving. To find this information, you can either consult Google or use an app like Chronometer. Chronometer is my favorite meal tracking app, because it simplifies logging meals and provides information on macro and micronutrients values for everything I consume. It even allows me to quickly check the protein content of a specific quantity of a given food. Now let's take a closer look at some foods, their protein content, and their DIAS score. Eggs may not contain a large amount of protein. In fact, one large egg typically contains around 6 grams of protein. However, they have an impressive DIAS score of 112. Eggs are incredibly versatile and can be easily incorporated into many meals. Personally, I make sure to include at least one egg in my daily breakfast routine. All types of fish have DIAS score of 100 or higher, making fish an excellent source of protein. A portion of 3 ounces or about 85 grams of tilapia contains about 22 grams of protein. The same quantity of salmon has about 22 grams, mackerel has about 20 grams, and sardines have about 21 grams. Cold water fatty fish, often referred to as smashed fish, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herrings are not only rich in protein, but also provide essential vitamins such as vitamin D and K2, and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. This combination makes them excellent anti-aging foods as well. Whey protein isolate has an impressive DIAS score of 125. It's an easy protein option to add to yogurt, smoothies, or overnight oats. However, it's important to note that this type of protein powder isn't considered a whole food, and is often sold mixed with other ingredients to improve its taste. This may include various types of gums, preservatives, and sweeteners. I've linked below the specific protein I personally use, and in this video here, I show you how I incorporate it into my first meal of the day. Ground beef has a DIAS score of 121. However, cooked ground beef has a slightly lower DIAS score of 99, making it one of the few foods that see a reduction in protein quality after cooking. So if you're a fan of beef tartare, know that it's an exceptionally high quality protein. A portion of 3 ounces or 85 grams of ground beef has approximately 21 grams of protein, while the same amount of sirloin contains about 25 grams. Whenever possible, consider opting for grass-fed and grass-finished beef. 3 ounces or 85 grams of cooked chicken breast provides about 26 grams of protein, while chicken thighs have 24 grams for the same quantity. These values make chicken one of the foods with the highest protein content per weight. In addition, chicken breast has a DIAS score of 108. Chicken is a so-called lean protein as it contains less fat than other types of meat. Since fat helps us feeling full for longer though, it's possible that chicken might be less filling. Whenever possible, consider opting for pasture-raised chicken. Pork typically contains about 24 grams of protein per 3 ounces or 85 grams. The diet score for pork can vary significantly depending on the type of meat and the cooking method. For instance, smoked cooked bacon has an outstanding diet score of 142. On the other hand, well-done pork loin has a diet score of 117. While I'm not a huge fan of pork, my husband makes a delicious pulled pork. And speaking of recipes, I would like to invite you to check out my new course, Healthy Meal Plan 2.0, where I teach you how to make any recipe healthier and create meal plans that align with your body's needs. The course also gives you access to our online community, Busy Women Eat Healthy, where we meal plan together and where you can ask me all your nutrition questions and more. Greek yogurt is the type of yogurt with the highest amount of protein, even though that number depends on the brand. A good quality, high-fat percentage Greek yogurt contains about 20 grams of protein per cup. Now, a proper yogurt is made exclusively from whole milk and the culture of bacteria. And whole milk has a diet score of 114. This means that the protein in yogurt is high quality. When buying yogurt, make sure to read the ingredient list. Ideally, it should look like this one rather than this one. Whey in dairy products like yogurt, if you're not lactose intolerant, is extremely beneficial as it also contains vitamin K2, which directs calcium from the arteries, where it causes calcification and heart disease, directly to our bones. Cheese is another dairy product rich in protein, with protein content varying depending on the type of cheese. For example, 1 cup of cottage cheese contains 23 to 28 grams. 1 mozzarella of 100 grams contains between 18 and 22 grams. 1 portion of 1 ounce or 28 grams of grana padano contains about 10 grams. It's interesting to see how different countries have their traditional local cheeses. For instance, when I was living in Spain, I used to eat mostly manchego. Now that I live in Bulgaria, I eat their kashkaval and their white cheese similar to feta. In Italy though, we go on a completely different level, and the typical cheeses change from region to region. So I would like to invite you to consume your local cheeses and read the nutrition label to know the amount of protein they contain. Now, let's move on to plant-based protein sources. These proteins are considered incomplete because they lack some of the 9 essential amino acids, which can only be introduced through food. As a consequence, their diet scores are lower, and so is the protein quantity per portion. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be eating them, in fact, quite the opposite. Soy and soy-derived products like tofu and tempeh are some of the richest plant-based protein sources. Among all of them, the best option would be tempeh, because it's a fermented food which helps break down some of the anti-nutrients of soy. 100 grams of tempeh contains about 20 grams of protein, while 100 grams of extra firm tofu contains about 13 grams of protein. Both tofu and tempeh have a diet score equal to 91. All legumes have diet scores below 100, and their protein content varies, with 1 cup of lentils providing about 18 grams, 1 cup of chickpeas providing about 14 grams, and beans differing depending on the type, ranging between 8 and 14 grams per cup. Now, the good part of this type of foods is that when we consume them in meals, we eat them together with other ingredients. This means that the amino acids contained in each ingredient can complement each other, improving the overall diet score of the meal. For example, combining legumes with cereals can potentially improve the protein quality of the meal. Now, if we want to be specific, a higher score can be achieved only if we use the right ratios between ingredients. For instance, mixing peas and rice can yield a DIAS value above 100, but only at a ratio of 60 to 65% of protein from peas and 35 to 40% of protein from rice. However, these combinations tend to be high in carbohydrates. While this isn't necessarily a problem, it's important to be mindful of our carbohydrate sensitivity, as it might impact blood glucose levels. Now, I would like to ask you, do you know how many grams of protein you should consume daily? If you haven't calculated yet, check out this video here, where I reveal the exact formula. Don't worry, it's very easy. And if you're new to my channel and want to make healthy eating easy, make sure you subscribe right here for new videos every Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in e ci vediamo nel prossimo video. Ciao!